Hey y'all, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the best foods that I tried in Japan. Let's get it. What's up, Earthlings? Cool Cat Codes here with another video for y'all. I just got done with my Japanese lesson, and today I was reviewing how to order in a restaurant. When you get out of practice doing that, it's easy to forget all that stuff, and it's crazy how much I forget when I'm not practicing in person with people who are native speakers. Today I was practicing that, and I started thinking just about all of the food that I had in Japan and how delicious it was, and it was making me crave all this good stuff. So I went and I got myself some ramen. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about all the delicious food I had and kind of taking you through each of my favorite things that I tried, all the things I thought were disgusting. There was only a couple, but the food in general was such high quality, so delicious, and I'm gonna be walking you guys through like each of the things and kind of what is in it. All right, first things first, I want you guys to remember that other countries don't have as low of standards in terms of processed food as America does. And so first things first, the thing that I loved about all of the food in Japan was the quality was literally elite, highest quality that you can imagine. Even McDonald's had high quality. Okay, now compared to other restaurants, no, but there's a minimum standard that is so much higher than America's minimum standard, and because of that, their minimum is higher than our medium, you know what I mean? So when you're going to nice restaurants, it was night and day difference, so the quality is just noticeable right away. The first food that I'm going to talk to you guys about is the ramen. Okay, I think we all grew up with top ramen. I think we all grew up maybe at this point and have tried real ramen. I'm not gonna lie, ramen is one of the only foods in Japan that is very, very replicable in the United States, okay? So keep in mind, the quality is going to be lower in terms of the processed noodles, okay? I doubt very many ramen shops in the United States are importing their noodles from Japan or from, the eastern side of the world. But outside of them being processed, they can make ramen in the United States that tastes almost as good, 95% as good as the ramen in Japan. Which is a little bit surprising because none of the other foods that I'm going to talk about are replicable at all. But in terms of the ramen, that is the thing I get in the United States the most because it was the closest. When I was in Japan, don't get me wrong, it's way more authentic. There's gonna be ingredients in it that you wouldn't see in American ramen. But in terms of just the noodles and the broth, they can make some insanely good ramen here in the United States. So to be honest, when I went there, I did still eat a lot of ramen, but in terms of blowing me away, it didn't blow me away because the quality here is actually pretty darn good. So the quality there was also really, really good. So I still had it a lot because it's one of my favorites, but I will say that if you're looking for something that's gonna blow you away, ramen is probably not the food that you're gonna want the most, but still a classic. Second, I am gonna talk to you guys about the sushi. The sushi was insane, okay? First things first, if you don't like fish, get the fuck out. Just leave the channel right now. Just kidding, come on back. But y'all have to like fish. Y'all have to really like fish. And I'm not talking American fish. This shit is raw, really, really raw. Some of them do not have great texture, but they're all delicious, okay? There was some that I didn't like, but I'm pretty good at spotting things that I'm not gonna like and trying one and being okay, I don't really fuck with that anymore. But in terms of the sushi, the quality was night and day difference. With American sushi, we don't realize how Americanized our sushi is here. I was talking to this girl the other day and she was oh yeah, I would love to go to Japan to try their California rolls. And I was they don't have California rolls in Japan. That's an American state. I mean, no shade to her, but I was I don't think they have those. And if you're looking for Americanized sushi when you go there, just stay home. Just stay home. You don't want to go there. But in terms of the quality, it was so darn high, and it was weird, man. Like, the first time I had it, I was like, this is okay. And it just grows on you, you know what I mean? You're going to get more used to the texture the more you have it. But the amount of like different options is insane. Like, you'll go to a restaurant here and they might have like 12 or 13 different rolls, and you think that's a lot. They might have 50 different rolls. They might have rolls that they are only serving on Mondays because they can only get that kind of fish on Mondays. And just everything about it was so cool. I went to some like fancier ones, but like for the most part I was just going to like conveyor belt ones, and it was still good. Like, even the conveyor belt ones, which like traditional Japanese people would probably be like, oh, like that's super low quality, that was the best sushi I've ever had, compared to anything in Japan, or in anything in the United States rather. All right, I gotta talk to y'all about my personal favorite, okonomiyaki. If you know, you know. Okonomiyaki is not something that we have reproduced here in the United States. Like, I have never found a place that serves okonomiyaki, at least not in like any real capacity. But this is a Japanese staple. And it's not fancy. It's considered just like comfort food, but this is one of the best meals I've ever had, and it's probably in my top 5 favorite foods I've ever tried. Okonomiyaki is basically like a fried pancake with cabbage and meat in it. And it's served on like this really, really flat grill, and it's cooked in front of you. And you know, I even got to the point, I had this so much when I was in Japan that I even figured out the exact way that I like it cooked, okay? Like, you know, I pay a little bit extra, I get some cheese sprinkled on that shit, it crystallizes and like kind of hardens, and then you kind of like, I'm not saying burn it, but like cook it a little extra and make it like crunchy. This shit, it doesn't even sound that good when I describe it, but you just have to try it. Like, this is the craziest, like, quick, cheap meal that you can get, and this is something that like every single Japanese family makes for their kids. You know, it's like a grilled cheese in the United States. Like, that's the equivalent as far as a staple. And this food was amazing. I tried it over and over again. I tried it at all these different places. The best place I had it was Osaka, because they make it just a little bit different. And that's where I discovered that you could put cheese on it, and that made it like 10 times better. I loved it before, but once I realized I could put cheese on it and like it like crystallized a little bit, dude, fuck it up. If you ever get the chance, please try okonomiyaki, but don't do it in the United States. Next, I'm gonna talk to you guys about this other one that probably was my second favorite while I was there. Maybe top 3 at least. Okay, I love ramen. I grew up with ramen, and this is like a different take on noodles. It's called tsukemen. Tsukemen is basically like thicker noodles, but they're dipping noodles, okay? So you'll have like your bowl of your broth, and the broth is just like 100 times better than ramen. That's probably the reason that I like it so much. And it's usually like a little bit spicy and very, very savory. And you have the bowl of the like the dip, I guess, and you have your noodles in a different bowl, okay? And you just, you know, boom, boom, and then eat. And they're cold too, okay? So don't be put off the fact that the noodles are cold. It's still super fire, okay? So you got these noodles, you got the dip, and you dip them. I don't know what it was about these noodles, but like this gave me like Olive Garden on crack vibes. Like, you know when you're eating at Olive Garden and you realize like, oh, I'm full, I need to stop, but this is so damn good, and then you don't stop, and then you're in the car like, like you're fucking dying because you just ate like enough for an entire village. That's how it was every time I had tsukemen. I only had it like 3 times, but this shit was so delicious. It's the broth, okay? It's not the cold noodles. The cold noodles are good, like noodles are good in general, right? But the broth was so good, and for some reason, like these noodles would just absorb instantly, and there would just be so much flavor in every single bite. And for some reason, these noodles were just a little bit better tasting than the noodles in ramen. Like the thinner noodles, for some reason, just didn't have a lot of flavor to them. So it was pretty much all about the broth with ramen. But with Sukumen, once again, it's probably all about the broth, but the noodles were also just a super good texture and very thick, and they were very absorbent. So Sukumen was one of my favorites. Pro tip, if you're going to go eat Sukumen, okay, which you guys probably will now that you saw this video, y'all gotta wear some clothes you are fine with never wearing again, because unfortunately this is one of the messiest foods I have ever eaten. Okay, they give you a bib when you pull up, so you already know it's messy, but I promise you, I wore a bib every single time, and no matter what, I always got a stain on my clothes. So pull up with some clothes that literally are about to donate to Goodwill, and fuck up some Sukumen, and then throw those clothes away, because those are not going to be good anymore. This is actually a top 2 food that I ate. Manja. Okay, once again, very low-key food, comfort food. It's kind of like considered an appetizer in Japan. Actually, Japan is kind of known for like lots of small meals, you know what I mean? Like the portion sizes are small, and so a lot of times when people go out and eat, like they're not necessarily even looking for like this big entree, you know what I mean? And so manja's kind of perfect for just like, you know, you're going hanging out like late night, and you pull up to a restaurant like in between going to places, and manja's like this appetizer, right? So if me and a girl were hanging out, there'd be like this small table in front of us, but the entire table, or for the most part, like 90% of the table is a grill, okay? So we're sitting there at this grill, and these people basically come and cook your meal in front of you, kind of hibachi style. And basically they make a smaller version of okonomiyaki, but instead it's like this thin, like razor thin, okay? And I don't know every single ingredient that goes in it, but it's basically like, if you, like how I think about it when I think back about it, it's basically like if you had a more thicker layer of melted cheese just on a pan, okay? And you literally have this little tool, and you scrape this stuff off of the pan and eat it off of this fucking scraper. I know that sounds like medieval times, but literally this shit was so incredible. If it wasn't for the fact that it's definitely really unhealthy, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's literally like an appetizer, like the equivalent is like mozzarella sticks or something like that. Like this shit's so good, but it's definitely not good for you. And literally, like, you're just scraping it off and eating it, and every bite was like a piece of heaven. If it was healthier, it'd probably be my favorite food on earth. But literally, this is something I only had twice while I was there. I had it at the same place. The staff was insane, but the food was so incredible. All right, this one's gonna be a little bit controversial. I apologize in advance to all my equestrian friends. I don't have any equestrian friends, but I still fuck with y'all. I tried raw horse while I was in Japan, okay? And I didn't really know how to feel about it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a couple of drinks inside of me, and I was hanging with my Japanese friends, and they were just ordering shit, okay? Just ordering shit and like stuff, trying to do stuff that's like very Japanese, okay? So they bring this meat to the table, and I was like, okay, this is definitely red meat, okay? So I was like, hey, what's that? Oh, that's horse meat. And make sure you dip it in the horse sauce. That's what my friend told me. And I was like, horse sauce? What the fuck is that? It's just sauce that you dip horse in. But anyways, raw horse was unbelievable, okay? Think about like salami or anything that you would eat as like an hors d'oeuvre at a football game, but to the 58th power, okay? Like literally this stuff, it's expensive too. So, you know, you don't want to be eating it all the time. You can't eat it like you would eat like salami. But literally it was so good. Again, it's kind of an appetizer. There wasn't very much of it either, but literally it was so like moist and so like lean and very, very savory. The sauce was to die for. If you can get past the morality of it, because we kind of romanticize horses in the United States, it was so incredible. I definitely would recommend trying it. Don't get me wrong. I know there's going to be people that just can't get past the comfortability of eating a horse. But when you think about it, like, it's no different than a cow. You know what I mean? Like, we eat cows every single day, but we're not cool with horses. I mean, I think it's fine. It's not like they're a dog or anything. All right, now I gotta tell you guys about some of the foods that I did not fuck with, okay? Same night as the horse. Like I said, my friend, he's just ordering stuff, trying to like get us out of our comfort zone, and which I fuck with. And he brings this thing to the table, okay? And I could already tell that I didn't fuck with it, all right? Like, you ever see something, and like, I used to be a really picky eater, I'm not anymore. And you ever see something and you're just like, I already know I don't like that? You know, you're being super judgmental, and like, there's been things that I've said that about that I did end up liking, but here's the thing, I already knew I didn't like it. But I was gonna try it. One, because he bought it for me and he was trying to get us to try things that were out of our comfort zone. And usually I'll try anything once, you know what I mean? But when I tell you guys this was the worst food I've probably ever consumed in my adult life, okay? The name of this food I don't know in Japanese, but basically it was cod testicles, okay? I already knew I didn't like it, and I even told him in very, very bad Japanese, I was like, don't tell me what that is, okay? Like, whatever you do, I'm gonna try it, don't tell me what that is, okay? And I start reaching for it, and he goes, it's cod testicles. I was like, bro, I just told you, don't tell me what it is. Now I have to know what it is while eating it, while knowing I'm not gonna like it already before that. Now I know I'm gonna hate it. Okay, so I get this shit on my plate. Like, the taste, don't get me wrong, the taste was terrible, but when I tell you the texture was literally the worst thing I've ever eaten, okay? It was slimy, it was very, very chewy, and the taste wasn't good either, but the texture, it was like I was fighting demons trying to get this shit down, okay? And I did, I tried it, and I didn't eat any more of it. And I'm still glad because it's a good story and everything, but like, fuck, man, like, why do they eat that? It's not good. Another thing I didn't like, I'm just gonna be honest, is like salmon roe, you know, like fish eggs. I'm not gonna lie, I am a huge savory person, but this is almost too savory for me. It's like kind of like anchovies, where it's like, it's so salty, it almost like burns your tongue a little bit, and that's like the appeal of it. It's like so savory. But it was just too much for me. It's not the texture for me, because they do like melt in your mouth, which I kind of like. It's literally just, it's a little too salty for me. So even though it's not like my least favorite thing, it was definitely not my favorite thing, and not something I would ever get again. I know what I like, you know, at this point. I would rather either try something new or get something I like. I don't want to go back to things that I'm just not really super into. But I do understand the appeal. Like, I get how some people would like it. Like, I know I have a friend, he's a weirdo. He literally will eat salt out of salt packets just for fun. Like, that's how much of a savory person he is, and I think he would fuck with salmon roe. It's just not my thing. All right, y'all. Next, I want to talk to you, Next, I want to talk to you guys about the fast food in Japan. Like, you know, I'm an American. I grew up on fast food, super poor. And I had always heard the quality was so much higher, even at these like really, you know, low quality places like McDonald's. And so because I literally grew up right next to McDonald's, I ate that shit like probably over 1,000 times in my life, which is disgusting. And so I was like, I have to try it. I have to try it just once. I went there and I kind of showed out, man. I got like 10 items on the menu, ate everything. I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to food. Like, it's very rare that I meet somebody that can eat more than me, or faster than me. Like, I'll just like it's like you're gonna take it away from me or something, or it's like, you know, it's a race. But anyways, so I went to McDonald's and I actually was impressed. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the worst food quality wise that I had the entire time I was there, but still night and day difference between McDonald's in America and McDonald's here. You can tell that it's actually real beef, you know, you can tell that it's actually real fish, you know, everything there was at least at their minimum standards, but it was probably at their minimum standards. Okay, but they were also pretty innovative. I was surprised, which McDonald's here can be innovative as well, but like, while I was there, they had some sort of Godzilla attraction thing going on in Japan, and so they literally had a Godzilla burger. Okay, so I got that. It was super fire. That had this dope barbecue sauce on it that was like kind of tangy and like a little bit sweet. So that was super fire. Of course, I had to try their chicken nuggets. Honestly, their chicken nuggets were pretty good, but they were honestly just like a little bit more moist. So they had this cod katsu there. Oh my God. It was like super fried and super like low quality, I guess, in terms, but it was so delicious. Like all of the fish stuff that I tried that was fried in Japan was unbelievable. This is like a low key thing. Okay, I grew up drinking soda, and luckily, like, I don't drink that much soda anymore. But I was like, I'm gonna try a soda just because I'm at McDonald's, and that was like the place that like I would always drink soda, you know. And the soda in Japan is ass. Like, I get why they're all skinny, because the soda doesn't even taste good. They must have like a very, very strict limit on how much sugar they can put in their stuff, because I could just tell there was no sugar in it. I've worked in food service in the past, and like they pump syrup into that shit whenever you have fountain drinks at a place, and I could tell they just weren't putting like it basically tasted like soda water, and I didn't fuck with that. So Japan, if you are a soda addict, I hope you're looking to kick that habit, because if you move to Japan or if you go visit Japan, you're not gonna have a good soda for like a month. But honestly, that's a positive thing. But anyways, I still wanted to comment on that because it was just a little bit weird. And I tried a soda one other place, and that was like a nice restaurant, and it was the same thing. It just tasted like soda water. There was like no sugar in it really, which might be a good thing, like I said. But at the same time, if you want a soda and you're from America, you're not gonna enjoy the soda. You're just not going to. All right, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the snacks that I tried in Japan. Okay, there was tons of like little cute chip bags and stuff like that that all tasted really good, but I don't really eat a lot of like salty chips or any. I just don't really eat snacks like that. But there was one snack that I got over and over again that was so good. Like, you're on the go and like there's a million places that will serve this. It's called onigiri, and it's one of the most popular Japanese snacks. And it's basically like a rice ball in a triangle shape wrapped in seaweed. And the best ones have like tuna in them, or like, you know, a little bit of, well, I don't really know. I guess the only ones I got were plain and tuna, but I'm sure there was other options. Point is, basically it's just a nice little savory snack. Again, probably not the healthiest thing, but at the end of the day, I was just trying to try a bunch of delicious stuff while I was there. And onigiri is something I got probably 5 times while I was there, and you just feel good while you're eating it. Like, you feel like a little kid. It's kind of like if you have a Capri Sun, or like a Lunchable. You just feel like a little kid again, because you're just eating like this little tiny thing. And also in anime, like they eat those in every single anime, and so it definitely made me feel just like more in tune with that kind of calling that I had. But onigiri slaps. You gotta try it if you go there. I feel like you might even be able to get some onigiri here in the United States that's not that bad, because at the end of the day, it's just rice and seaweed and sometimes like something in the middle. Again though, the rice quality is just so much higher for their minimum standards there, so it's not processed at all, and that's probably what makes it so fire over there. All right, I think you guys have heard the rumors about this, but if not, y'all gotta pull up to 7-Eleven when you are in Japan. Okay, I might have to do a whole other video on the 7-Elevens in Japan, but if you're looking for snacks, they're gonna be on every single corner throughout all of Tokyo. Like, you cannot walk 50 steps without seeing another 7-Eleven, like in the distance. You know what I mean? You'll see that same like green and red arch, you know what I mean? Kind of like McDonald's. Like, their branding is so good, but also they're everywhere. Like, there's way more in Tokyo than there probably is in the entire United States. And the snacks there are fucking insane. Like, you know, if you were poor, you probably grew up like getting hot food at convenience stores. 7-Eleven literally bashes the brains in of every single convenience store in America. Okay, not only do they have like really, really decent hot food options, but like there's this one thing that I got, and it's called chicken katsu. Okay, and it's basically just like super fried chicken. but it's so juicy, like unbelievably juicy and wet. And hey, chill, chill. But listen, the chicken katsu at 7-Eleven slaps. Now, it is gonna put you on the toilet for like 5 straight minutes, but the chicken was fire. Like, literally, the chicken quality in terms of taste at 7-Eleven is better than almost anywhere I've ever had in the United States. That's a statement, I know that, but I kind of stand on it. The last thing that I had that's kind of like a little snack, I had way too much of it. I am addicted to milk tea, okay? I grew up, I'm a milk drinker, and milk tea is elite. Elite, okay? It's basically sweet milk. Some of them have caffeine, some of them don't. I honestly never even paid attention to that. But, you know, I literally have been drinking these. I've found places in the United States that sell them because I'm so obsessed with them. Now, I don't drink them as much as I sound like I do, because honestly, I'd weigh like 450 pounds if I did. But these are literally the best drinks I've ever drank. My goal was to find just one vending machine that sold milk tea in like those little juice boxes. This is something that's super classic from anime, and it was a bitch trying to find these, okay? There are vending machines, once again, on every corner of every block in Tokyo, and they sell a lot of cool stuff. Like, there's even vending machines that sell like hot food in it, which is like weird, and sell frozen shit, which is weird. But it was hard. It was easy to find drinks, but the milk tea was really difficult to find. I found one in Kyoto, and I was really surprised by that, because they make it seem like every school in the entire country has these vending machines, and they do, but I don't know if they have the milk tea. I think that might be like a little bit more rare, and like at least in the juice box form, like that's the form that I wanted it in, and I only found one. I'm fumbling with my words, honestly, because milk tea just makes me nervous. Like, it's so good. Like, I just get a little geeked when I even think about it. Like, I kind of wish I had a milk tea right now and just have water. But yeah, if you guys don't fuck with milk tea, fuck you. All right, y'all, that is all of the best and worst foods I tried in Japan. Those were the foods that left the biggest impression on me. I honestly tried a lot more food while I was there, and I will try a lot more food when I do go there again. If you guys want to hear more about that, I could probably do another video about that. Again, follow me on Instagram if you guys want to DM me or anything. I'll respond to all of y'all, and make sure to like and subscribe these videos, guys. Leave a comment of food that you want to try when you go to Japan, or maybe questions that you have for me about food, or just anything else you guys want to know about me. Yeah, guys, just stay with me on this journey, man. We're gonna post every single day for like 100 days and just see what happens. I'm about to be going back to Japan. I'm about to make my dreams come true. Come on, fuck with me. Thank you.